Alright, what's up guys, it's your boy BlackHatGaming, and welcome back to another video. Now, this is an interesting one, which you will see why this is interesting. Now, as you people may or may not know, the Forza series is one of the most popular racing, car racing series on Xbox and in the gaming field. From the Forza Motorsport series being solely around racing on famous tracks from around the world, to the Forza Horizon series being not only just for tracks, but also solely around the open world concept, where players can have the opportunity to explore the vast areas of the map where a lot of new things are waiting to discover. Therefore, what if I said to you that they have confirmed a new Forza game to be released? Well, if you don't believe me, according to Fernando Delgado of Microsoft Xbox of Spain and Portugal, he says there have been many speculations about where the next Forza Horizon will be set, and that is what we will tell later at E3. So, it's safe to say that a new Forza Horizon game called Forza Horizon 4 is officially confirmed to be released sometime this year or maybe next year, and most importantly, get its first announcement at E3 in a couple months time, being around June. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what we know so far about this game, but most importantly, what we might expect when the game is announced, or first announced at E3, when the full game is released for the world. Alright, so now let's start with my first point, which is, when will the game be released? Now, obviously, they have not really announced it yet, since E3's in a couple months, but I certainly do have a prediction of when will it be released. To understand my point, let us lay down some examples. So, starting with the release of Forza Horizon, the first Forza Horizon, which was released on the 23rd of October 2012. Then, 2 years later, Forza Horizon 2 was released, and that was released on the 30th of September 2014. Then, another 2 years later, Forza Horizon 3 was released on the 27th of September 2016. Now, can you see a pattern? Yeah, well, one being that there's a 2-year gap, and the second, these Horizon games were released around the September to October months. So therefore, I predict that Forza Horizon 4 would be released, or will be released sometime around those months. Maybe around late August, or maybe around November. Who knows? We're just going to have to wait until E3 for its first announcement. Now moving on to my second point, which is, where will this game be located / set? Well, I know, and probably you guys know, that the first Forza Horizon that will start a series, that was set in the state of Colorado in the United States of America. Then Forza Horizon 2 was set in Europe, in particular France and Italy, and also some other European states or countries. And Forza Horizon 3 being set in Australia. So I know a lot of people are starting to suggest some ideas of where we release, such as like Africa, South America, all that sort of stuff. But many people, including myself, said that the next game will probably be set in Asia, in particular the country of Japan. And there is some good reasons why people say that Japan could be a good place for the next Forza Horizon game setting. Now the first reason is this: there is an immense potential for variety here, with tracks ranging from wide open country fields to a neon-lit metropolis filled with towering skyscrapers and busy streets. Now Tokyo, correct me if I'm wrong, Tokyo is perfect for one of these settings, because not only players can race through the streets and enjoy the views, and also experience the nice bright night lights, but players can also, if they want to, recreate scenes from Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, and drift through the streets of Tokyo, causing chaos along the way. Now another good location in Japan that could be good for the setting is Mount Fuji and the surrounding roads. This is a drifter's paradise, and if you don't believe me, go back to Forza Motorsport 4, which that was the game when the first Mount Fuji track was released. That was a drifter's paradise. A lot of people, especially drifters, would go onto that map and drift either up Mount Fuji and the surrounding roads, or go down Mount Fuji. Now, I would guess that if Mount Fuji and the surrounding roads were added into Forza Horizon 4, and also Japan itself, many drifters would flock to that spot, and a lot of players would go to certain spots in Japan and perform the best things, especially some drifts around Mount Fuji and the surrounding roads. Now, being that it is the Forza Horizon series, it all involves cars, but nothing else. But I reckon that they should take it to the next level and add different types of vehicles into the game, like quad bikes, motorbikes, boats, planes, and etc. And if you don't believe me, even this part of the article also says about it too. Horizon 3, being Forza Horizon 3, already upped the stakes when it came to vehicle variety and customization. Now it's time for its successor to absolutely blow things out of the water. We want to see quad bikes, motocross/motorbikes, boats, and more. These could all be catered to with specific events and tournaments alongside a detailed class of vehicles to unlock alongside them. Now this could be interesting because we do not have to be in just cars for all the races, but also experiment in different types of vehicles, like I just mentioned earlier, and to complete certain events in them. So having like only boat races, or having races in just boats, races in just motorbikes, and all in between. Another interesting point about the vehicles is to add more hypercars. Now surprisingly, this is what many people would like to see. And many people do like our current hypercars, such as like the Bugatti Huayra, the Lamborghini Veneno, the Hennessy Venom, all those type of hypercars. But many people do like to see more hypercars be added into the next game. It's been a phenomenal year for hypercars, with some of the most powerful, exciting, and technically advanced cars making an appearance. Cars like McLaren's new Senna, Mercedes-Benz's Project One, and of course Red Bull and Aston Martin's incredible Valkyrie. And they promise to be the fastest, they promise to be faster and more exciting to drive than anything we have seen before. However, sadly, they also cost an eye-watering amount of money, and due to its limited production runs, that would mean that most of us will never get the chance to experience them. That is why it would be great to see the latest generation of hypercars in Forza Horizon 4 to let us explore the remote regions of the planet in cars we can only dream of owning. Now, like I said, a lot of people do like to see more hypercars added into the game, and of course, some people do like our normal hypercars we have, like the examples I mentioned before. But it will be interesting to see more hypercars be added into the next game. Now moving on to my fourth point. Now for this point, we have good features back in our previous games, or previous Horizon games, like the drone mode or the drone feature in Forza Horizon 3, and the rewind feature for all the Forza Horizon games. Now I'm going to guess that those features would come back into Forza Horizon 4, but there was an interesting feature that people would like to see added into Forza Horizon 4, a track designer. Of course, we do not have this feature back in our previous Forza Horizon games, but this would be an interesting feature to be added into the next game. Gamers have proven they are absolutely brimming with creativity in the past, whether it be a 4-point simulator or a primitive kart racer. Creation tools have put to brilliant use so many times we have lost count. Now imagine something like this inside the Forza Horizon framework. You could create unique events and tournaments curated for a small group of friends, or broadcast your creations to the entire gaming world. A method of earning bonus vehicles or in-game credits if your tracks happen to garner popularity would be another awesome touch. If this feature were added into Forza Horizon 4, it would be interesting because this would let players get creative and make awesome tracks for players to race on. Now moving on to a big point, which is what what other things would we like to see in the next game? Now, we know for a fact that Forza Horizon 4 could be released sometime this year or maybe next year. We know that it could be set in Japan, and the vehicles and features we might expect to see in the next game. Now let us talk about some things we would like to see in the next game. We know that in previous Horizon games, this is the first point, most of the achievements were easy to collect. But I think it's time to step it up and make achievements that would be hard to get. Using motocross bikes and quad bikes to gain big air and execute badass flips to the shock of spectators will not only be highly satisfying to pull off, but also give players a much greater range of tools to play within the open world racer. Sprinkling a little bit of that Trials magic into the brilliance of Forza could be a match made in heaven. Another interesting thing that people would like to see is brand new partnerships. Take Forza Horizon 3 as an example. We know that they have collaborated with Hot Wheels before, and they collaborated together to make a DLC or expansion called the Hot Wheels expansion, where it added a new map with new cities to explore, and loops, jumps, and dinosaurs you can experience. Forza's previous partnership with Hot Wheels was a stroke of genius, letting us get to grips with the cars we loved playing with as children, and giving Forza Horizon 3 a more surreal, fun feel than most of its often deadly serious racing rivals. We would love to see more brand partnerships in Forza Horizon 4, with a whole world of brilliant toys that could make an appearance. The introduction of Transformers could certainly add some spice, for example, or how about getting to race a virtual version of Anarchy's Overdrive? Sounds fun to us. Well, if you guys don't know what Anarchy's Overdrive is, I'm going to go ahead and put the picture up on screen now. Now, it's similar to a Conrad Go, which is being like a slot car racing track, which this one, in this case, being that it includes futuristic cars as race cars, and they'll also go around the track, or the race around the track, to see which car will win, or which player will win. Another interesting point, I know, I jumped that quick, but another interesting point is giving the next game more structure, meaning adding more missions to give it a good feel to the racing world. The fact you can drive around for hours on end is one of the biggest attractions of Forza Horizon. With few limits and an open world that we love exploring, however the same seemingly never-ending open world can occasionally make you feel like you need a greater purpose. That is why features like bonfires have been included, making it possible to listen to the radio to get the lowdown on the location of special cars before heading off to find them. Having a little more structure like this is not necessarily a bad thing. We would love to see more missions in Forza Horizon 4, a story where it is possible to progress, or maybe even some specific racing series we could sign up to and head out on track to take part in occasionally. I feel like these Horizon games were pretty short of storyline, so I believe that giving it more storyline in the next game, it enhances the experience a lot more. Now remember when I was talking about more about what vehicles should be added to the next game, and the point back in our previous thing I said before about barn finds? Well, speaking of that, they should add more barn finds. Now, some barn finds were interesting, containing some insane looking cars, but I believe that they should add more into the next game, having more interesting cars to collect. Barn finds has played a big part in the fun behind Forza Horizon, adding mini missions to the game and giving you another reason to play. Who doesn't love to stumble upon a free motor? Cars up for grabs in Forza Horizon 3, as example, include the Sublime Ferrari Dino 246 GT, the Maserati 86G CS Pininfarina Berlinetta, and the not so sublime Ford Super Deluxe Station Wagon. However, it takes all sorts, and we would like to see a variety continue with some more weird and wacky barn finds in Forza Horizon 4. Now, for this next point, I do agree with, and that is for the game to be more open world. Now, as I said before, previous Horizon games were set in like what I like to call like a tight, fixed space. Like, for example, being that Forza Horizon being set in Colorado in the United States. Now, if they decide for the next game to be located in Japan, they should use the whole country as a playground. Like the game The Crew, that had the whole country of the United States to explore. Previous versions of Forza Horizon have seen racing taking place at locations all around the world, but we think it's time for Forza Horizon 4 to get bigger. The crew somehow managed to distill the entire USA into its gameplay, making epic road trips a possibility. In addition, it would be great to see Forza Horizon 4 get similar options. The US may have been done already, but how about the option of crossing and exploring Europe, Russia, and Asia? Alternatively, what about heading over the French Alps, driving across Africa? The world is Forza Horizon 4's oyster, and we'd love to see BlackHatGaming take it full advantage. Now for my last point. Take a look at this picture that's on screen. Now I know for a fact that the game is from Forza Motorsport 7, but can you see that the picture is in full sharp quality, like in 4K visuals? Well, since Xbox One X is entirely set on making their new games have 4K visuals, making it sharper and look a lot better, what if these visuals were added into Forza Horizon 4? I would imagine that it would look a lot better, but if you do not have an Xbox One X, and only have either a normal Xbox One like me, or an Xbox One S, this will still be okay to use. All new games made by Microsoft Studios are Xbox One X and enhanced. This means that the developers have created versions that use the full power of the Xbox One X predecessors, RAM and graphics cards. Xbox One X enhanced games almost always uses that extra power for 4K visuals. 4K is shorthand for graphics that are 4 times as detailed as a standard HD game. Well, if you guys don't care about getting the best graphics, don't worry. Forza Horizon 4 will definitely work on older consoles like the Xbox One S and the normal Xbox One. But if you have an Xbox One S, expect higher dynamic range, color contrast, and upscale 4K visuals if your television supports that. So that is it. That is me talking about the what we might expect in Forza Horizon 4. So honestly can't wait to hear what the devs say about it at E3 in a couple of months, which is around probably June 12th. So stay tuned for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and if any more Forza Horizon 4 news comes up, I'll try and make a video on it if I can. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Smash the like button if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to my channel if you are new, and don't forget to hit the channel notifications button so you'll never miss when my next video will be uploaded next. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Peace.